7:30 a.m. We are, um, 1 week into the new year, and here we are still working out and going strong. That puts us at a year and 5 days. My name is Toby. I'm 40 years old, and I'm training to live a healthy, self-sufficient, and active life. I do that by minding my sleep, try to get between 7 and 9 hours in a day. I do that by minding what I eat. I try to eat within my energy balance. I try to eat 120 to 150 grams of protein in a day. Strength training, conditioning training, and mobility training at home, specifically using kettlebells because that is the space and the equipment that I can afford and have space for here in the house. Beyond that, I try to spend time with people I love and care about, try to do things that I enjoy, and generally try to live a stress-free life. This is about the way I feel, not about the way I look. So I want to feel fit, competent, capable for life. I want to be able to go out and have adventures, do things that I want to do. I want to keep up with my kids as they grow up, and I want to increase my health span for the increased lifespan that we are going to enjoy because we're getting older. We're not necessarily staying healthier over time. So that's something you're interested in. We can have this conversation on this channel as I train and go through my program and my routine. Maybe you can share with me what your program and your routine is like. That being said, just want to remind everyone always that we're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. And the only way to get anything done is by showing up and doing the work. So I'm going to hit the timer. We're going to start the warm-up, and then we're going to get started. We're just going to do an easy warm-up today. So I'm going to start with my neck because I know that the muscles in my back and neck get used quite a bit. I just want to check in how they're doing. So yesterday we talked about sleep quite a bit. Today we'll talk about the other one of the big three for a generally fit and healthy life, and that is nutrition. Because we tend to jump the gun when someone says that they're trying to get fit and healthy. We tend to jump to the conclusion that what they need to do is work out more, whereas actually to get fit and healthy, there are two other key components that always go hand in hand with our ability to actually get fit and healthy, and that is how well we sleep, which is what we talked about yesterday, and how well we eat. So, what are the basics of nutrition for health and fitness? Well, let's be honest. It's actually relatively simple and straightforward. But we just don't necessarily want to admit that and put in the work. First of all, it's energy balance. It's how much we eat in terms of how much energy we expend in a day. And mind me, this is all very basic because there's no way to make money in the fitness industry off basic advice. So a lot of advice and insights on health and fitness you're going to find online are going to be slightly convoluted, because otherwise they can't be packaged into products. But if you learn to mind your sleep, eat better, and start to move more often, more frequently, and in varied ways, well, guess what? You're going to get fitter and healthier over time if you do it long enough. Yeah, so just be mindful of that. But the base of it, and you can look up Eric Helm's fitness and muscle nutrition pyramid if you want one of the oldest sources in health and fitness on this topic, the one that everyone generally always comes back to. It basically says, mind your energy balance, mind your macronutrients, mind your micronutrients, then mind your supplements. In that order. So, why is this important? Well, depending on our goal, the energy balance and the energy expenditure we have, we're still warming up, by the way. The energy balance and the energy expenditure go hand in hand, right? If we have a goal of weight maintenance, we don't want to eat less than our energy balance because we'll start to lose weight. We don't want to eat more than our energy balance because we'll start to gain weight. So this is my challenge. I need to eat at and about my energy balance to support the activity in a day, as well as trying to build muscle and recover from the effort and exercise I put in a day. Yeah. So there we face an interesting challenge. Almost done with the warm-up, by the way. Now we're going to start with the kettlebell swings. So there we face an interesting challenge in terms of how we can actually eat to get to the goals that we are trying to get to. King Travel, Brazy, David M. Hello, King Travel. Hello, Brazy. Thanks for dropping by. Maybe it is. Some people say that. I try to speak quietly and softly and not to be too loud because there are people sleeping upstairs in the house. And David M., thanks. Welcome back. It's been a while, I think, since I've seen you. I hope you started 2025 well and that you're having a good day. And thanks for dropping by and saying hi. Well, I appreciate that. So, let's just see how the swings are coming along, and then we're going to get started with a 10 times 8 program. I think feels pretty good with a lightweight as well. Just swing this one around, and then we're going to move on to the 16 kilo. So back to nutrition, right? Because this is important. It's one that we tend to underestimate. We don't need to starve ourselves. We don't need to go on a diet. We don't need to superimpose a strict exclusionary or inclusionary regime on ourselves at all. But what we do need to do is be realistic about the impact food is going to have on our health and fitness. First set, right? And the impact of food is going to be tremendous. So, how do we plan for food? Well, first of all, like with working out, right? We stick with things, we consistently do things that we enjoy, and with consistent, I mean consistent over a lifetime. So if we're interested in changing our dietary habits, there's no point in saying, well, I'm just going to start eating more broccoli. Even though that's not a bad idea, it defeats the point. It defeats the point that I just made, is that we want to do things that we enjoy so that we can be consistent with them over time. So we want to understand what foods we enjoy. We want to understand what foods we need. And we want to start to strike a better balance between the foods we enjoy, the foods we need, and the quantities of those foods that we consume. So I'll give you a simple starting point, but look up any kind of calculator online. You take your body weight and you multiply that by 24. That's a good starting point for your energy balance. It's kind of like, all right, so that's more or less the amount of energy that I might need in a day. Third set, we're going to the fourth set. And if that is the amount of energy that I need in a day, how am I consuming that energy? Because I've talked about, I always mention that I try to get 120 to 150 grams fourth set, 120 to 150 grams of protein in a day, right? Well, if there's 4 calories to a gram of protein, give or take, right? That means that that's 600 calories in a day already gone off my energy budget of about 2,300. So by having a weight maintenance goal, eating at my energy expenditure, plus 150 grams of protein, 600 calories, yeah, that leaves about 1,500 calories for me, 1,600 to eat whatever I want. Which sounds nice. Which sounds nice, right? But if I load up on junk, by junk I mean foods that are very high in calories, very low in nutritional value, but taste really good, I can hit that 1,600 calories very quickly. But boy, am I going to be hungry and peckish throughout the day. So once we understand what our daily energy need is and the types of health and fitness goals that we're after, and for the 6th set, yeah, once we understand that, we can quickly calculate and understand that what we eat will have a big impact on how easy it is to actually overeat or undereat, given our health and fitness goals. Because my goal is health, weight maintenance, so I don't need to get smaller, I don't want to get bigger. I just want to be able to do the things that I'm doing, and over time change some of my fat mass into lean muscle mass, which I believe is slowly happening, given the fact that I'm showing up every day and doing the work. 7th set. Brazy, very interesting. He's my machine. His thanks, Brazy. I'm live every day if you're interested. Justin, but she ran you. Justin, thanks for dropping by, saying hi. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I know. They are, but the good news is with kettlebells is you can get a lot done with one weight, and the cheaper or the lower weights generally aren't that expensive. But that also depends on your disposable income, I guess. But look at it this way, most gym subscriptions maybe go into the $10 or $20 range. 7th set. Yeah. But my 8 kilo kettlebell I think was 25 or 30 bucks. And I used it for 6 months. So the 16 kilo I think came at 40 or 50 kilos, 40 or 50 bucks. And I've been using it for a year on this mat, which also was, I think, 50 bucks or something like that. So for 100 bucks you have equipment that might last you 5 or 10 years. But I understand the consideration, and to be very honest, you know, there's likely a gym that's nearby that's replacing their kettlebells, or someone who bought kettlebells but couldn't really find their groove with them. So there are different ways to maybe go looking for them, but I understand the apprehension with any investment. And maybe alternatively, you can work with a kettlebell trainer for a bit, or at the gym for a bit, 2 more sets to go, by the way, and see how much you like it or not before actually buying it. Or if you're more gym equipment kind of person, you know, like the big deadlift station, squat rack, bench press, or maybe even a machine kind of person. And like I always say, we don't have any rage against the machine on this stream, because resistance training is resistance training. The reason I'm using kettlebell is because it's very convenient. It's very convenient, and it fits my schedule and lifestyle. Last set of 8 swings, then we're going to move on to rows and squats. Yeah, so just keep that in mind, friends. But back to nutrition and food. So once we understand energy balance, well then what do we eat in a day? How does that work? Yeah, and it's an important distinction to make, that not all food has the same positive or negative impact on our health. So, before we get into any kind of discussion about this, let me preface this with one thing. You might ask me questions like, you eat a couple of 44 and 53. Yeah, heavy ones tend to be expensive. I think the 20 and 24 came at $100 and $130 that I have, and I'll put them to good use in the course of my life. But I understand that is quite the investment for sure. And you obviously train with kettlebells already. We're going to do a variation on the squat. We're going to do a split squat today. So, let's really look at how we then compose our meals, how we eat in a day, because that becomes an important part of this equation as well. I say, you could ask me a question like, do I eat unhealthy foods? Well, a food in and of itself is not necessarily healthy or unhealthy. Like, they have calories and nutrients, as long as they're not poisonous. There's no big deal about eating something once in a while. So you'll find me at fast food restaurants once a month maybe. I see it as a treat or a break from a normal diet. I don't see any harm in it. There'll be candy. I'll eat some chocolate once in a while. Snack foods at a party, there might be an occasional beer, for sure, as a part of a diet and regimen that I try to keep up with. Most definitely. So, it's not about avoiding foods as a whole, but there's a balance between those foods and the foods that are generally conducive to helping get my macronutrients, specifically protein, in, but carbs for energy, fat for my body and hormones to function, yeah, as well as foods that I generally keep me satiated throughout the day. Because the thing with junky foods is that they accomplish two things at once. They're very palatable, so you can eat them, and in the moment there is the experience of flavor. which is debatable whether that's real and functional or not for us as human beings. And they're rich in calories, so there's a lot of energy in there for us to process. Yeah. But what they don't do is they don't leave us satisfied for a long time, so we start to eat more, consume more, and more, and more. And over time, because they're so palatable relatively quickly, the amount of energy or calories that we consume increases, making us prone to overeat on junk food quicker than we are able to overeat on broccoli and aubergine and chickpeas and chicken breast and whitefish and brown rice. So that's why a good system for managing our nutrition is just so important. We need to understand and be able understand and be able to strike a balance between our energy need, our nutrition goals, which could be weight maintenance for me, protein, and feeling satiated throughout the day, and then reflect on our menu and what we're eating in order to understand whether we're, one, meeting our energy needs properly, two, whether we're eating a balance of macronutrients that are conducive to our goals. So like I said, for my strength and conditioning training, for muscle development, I need to eat 120 to 150 grams of protein in a day. And then, am I actually eating the kind of foods that make it easier to stick to my energy balance goal? One, am I eating foods that I enjoy and that I can continue eating throughout So what does that mean for me? That means that breakfast tends to be very standardized. Either Greek yogurt, because that's lactose free, I have issues with lactose, with fibers, some dark chocolate, and a bit of honey, going together with a shake that I usually use soy milk and banana to supplement. In total, that usually comes down to about 40 grams of protein consumed, but it also keeps me happy and going till around lunchtime, generally speaking. Yeah. So usually a lot of protein, a lot of vegetables for lunch. I try to go easy on the carbs. There's usually a snack in the afternoon, and again, a relatively regular dinner of protein, carbs, and that's it for this morning, by the way. Relatively standard dinner, protein, carbs, and fats, and a lot of vegetables that we take together. To constitute a healthy meal, and again a high protein dessert. I try to avoid sugar, but I add quite a bit of honey to my yogurt. I don't have a big issue with sugar and sweets. I think within reason, like within a certain energy balance, active lifestyle, healthy diet, there's a lot of variation possible. So eat what suits you, but these are kind of the foods. And I love vegetables, I love fresh salads, colorful salads, and with a light olive oil dressing, vinegar, oil vinegar, bit of salt. And again, don't overdo it on the oil. Find other ways to enhance the flavor. But finding that balance of nutrition, and again, it comes down to understanding our needs, knowing the foundations or basics of nutrition for health and fitness, which is energy balance, macronutrients, micronutrients, and then when we've sorted all of that out, maybe supplements if you really need them. And then, or unless you have a medical indication that says you need supplements, right? So figuring out those first two, and then finding foods that we can do consistently, that we can eat over time. The menu throughout the week in the house, like I said, breakfast is relatively standardized, never gets boring. You can vary the toppings maybe if you want, or the flavor of the protein powder that I use. I have 2, strawberry, vanilla. But that's as much variation as I get in breakfast. Lunch usually very varied, and dinner usually very varied, but the components are always the same. And on a week-to-week basis, there's always 3 or 4 days of chicken, 1 day of pasta, because kids love pasta, 1 day of fish, and 2 days where we see what is put on the menu. But mastering that consistently over 52 weeks is going to make a big difference. You do sleep better, you eat better, and I think you'll find that you'll exercise better by default, and then we can start talking about the exercise programs that we can do, but those you can find on my channel. I have a starters program. You can follow along with my kettlebell swings for beginners at the moment, and only do 10 minutes of swings in a day with a lightweight 8 kilo and get incredible results already in January. But it's up to you, all right? Hey, Mel B, how's it going? Have I already seen you in the new year? I think last time I saw you was Christmas, right? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good day. End of day if it's ending, start of the day if it's just starting. And I hope you and your loved ones are doing well, had a good start of the year. And I appreciate you dropping by and saying hi this morning. I really do. I'm glad you were able to make it and drop by this morning. I was just wrapping up. So I just want to say, King Travel, Brazy, David M, Bust Down Bandito, Justin, Melby, Bust Down Bandito. What do you mean, bricked up? Let me know what that means in the chat or under the video. I'd be curious to understand that. Thank you all for dropping by and saying hi. Have a good start of the day or end of the day. My day is starting at 6:05 a.m. here in Amsterdam. I'm going to get started, get ready for the kids waking up, school run and work today. We're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. And the only way to get anything done, friends, is by showing up and doing the work. So for those of you who don't know, my name's Toby. I'm 40 years old and I train to live an active, self-sufficient and adventurous life. I'm here every day on the stream talking about my health and fitness journey while I work out, and I make short videos as well. And with that, check out my channel, hit subscribe maybe, and I'll see you tomorrow, all right? Take care. Bye-bye.